Hello everyone, and welcome to the Noodle Network, the only channel on YouTube with 3 ways to play with your noodle. Today on the Noodle Network, we're going to be taking a look at it. Hold on a second, folks. Something seems a little off. Be right back. That's much better. Anyways, folks, it's time to take a look at the game, which could make or break the series. I give you Resident Evil 7. Much has happened since the old days of the original Resident Evil, with the game itself adapting from genre to genre, going from the third-person survival horror aspects of the original Resident Evils to the more action-oriented aspects of Resident Evil 4. However, as time went on, Resident Evil, much like its zombie counterparts, began to degenerate. No. Wrong Resident Evil. Oh, come on, really? Resident Evil 7 first started out at E3 2015, when it was released in the form of a tech demo entitled Kitchen. It would later go on to evolve from a small, unplayable tech demo to a fully playable prologue chapter available on consoles and PC in VR by December 2016. The demo itself would also feature multiple updates, adding more rooms and items to entice players to continue experiencing it. So then, the question remains, does Resident Evil 7 manage to live up to its own hype? Or does it follow in the footsteps of its previous 2 predecessors? Well, that's what we're here to find out.
Oh, what the fuck? Oh my god.
Don't even start.
How could this happen to me? I made my mistakes, got nowhere to run.
So luckily, this is immediately where the good news kicks in. Resident Evil 7 not only nails the survival horror aspects of old, but it also manages to take it a step further in becoming the very first full-length video game to be completely playable on the PlayStation VR. And boy, does it take full advantage of that fact.
Sure shit beats the hell out of dying. My little girl has given us a gift.
Resident Evil 7 begins with Ethan Winters, the main protagonist of the game, driving through the back roads of Dulvey, Louisiana, looking for his long-missing wife, Mia.
Yeah, let's go into the spooky basement again. Where the hell that is. Ah, shit! What the fuck? Fuck off me!
Such a lovely woman. This leads you to a large abandoned property, formerly known as the Baker Ranch, where you will take your first steps into the mystery of the Baker family and why Mia has currently taken up residence there. While at the Baker Ranch, you will get to know the entire family, starting with Jack Papa Baker.
You know, one more for good measure. Okay, she's dead.
Welcome to the family, son.
Ah!
Such a lovely family. Yes, as you'll come to find out, the whole Baker family has messed up something fierce. But Papa, in particular, repeatedly managed to get the better of me.
Oh!
Don't go anywhere.
Yeah, you don't go anywhere. Ah! Ow! Who headbutts someone like that? Oh god, he revives? Ow!
Now, all of the members of the Baker family seem to exhibit and embody different styles of the horror genre, beginning obviously with Jack, who has a sort of axe murderer and stalker vibe to him, as he continuously pops up in the first few chapters of the game, and will repeatedly act like you killed him, only for him to pop right back up in your face later as you move about the ranch. Soon after you've dealt with Jack for what will feel like the 17th time, you'll soon enter the domain of and meet Miss Marguerite Baker, wife and mother to the Baker family.
Get back to your room right now!
Marguerite, much like her husband, also takes on a particular style of horror. That style being that of a monster movie, as she later demonstrates by transforming into a giant bug.
It's an ugly planet! A bug planet! A planet hostile to life!
Oddly enough, I personally didn't have much trouble while battling Mama Baker, even after having set the difficulty to normal on my first playthrough of the game. That said, I will say that unfortunately large chunks of the game do have a more easy than normal mode feel to it while utilizing the PSVR. This, however, may have largely been thanks to my tendency to conserve ammunition and health items as I proceeded through the game at a more leisurely pace. Now, with the two elders of the household aside, we get to Lucas, the son of the Baker family and resident torture porn fan. Unlike his parents, Lucas you will never get to take on directly, but that said, that doesn't mean he's any easier to put down.
Ah!
Fucking password, right? Try 0814. No! 0621. No, it's 0514. Oh, come on. Take a chance. You never know.
What the hell does he mean? You son of a...
Yeah, Lucas, much like the genre of torture porn, seems to really get off on setting up traps to prove his genius, and yet even if you do solve his puzzles, you never really win against him completely.
Alright, we did it! Ha-ha! Ah! Happy birthday to me!
While dealing with the three main antagonists consisting of the Baker family, you'll also come across two other family members. There's the sister of the Baker family, Zoe, and then there's Grandma Baker, who will repeatedly pop up in random locations within the Baker Ranch all throughout the game. You first meet Zoe via telephone call, and she will immediately attempt to aid you by directing you throughout the household in order to get you free. However, as the game progresses, she will begin asking you to help in order to get your hands on the cure so that both she and Mia can be saved from the infection. Grandma, on the other hand, will only pop up here and there as you traverse the ranch. She will repeatedly show up at odd times, almost as if she were following you.
What the hell?
Rise and shine, sleepyhead.
Hey guys,
time for supper.
you know, I'm a little concerned because I think Grandma might be dead. You know, just saying. She looks a little stiff.
It's good.
The Baker family itself, however, aren't the only enemies of the game. Though they are the focal point of the first half, they mainly serve as a catalyst for the bigger threat as well as maintenance workers to help create a new form of enemy known as the Molded.
Where are you? There you are! Ah, there's more of them! Oh my god! Oh my god! There's 4 of them! 4 of them! 4 of them! 4 of them! Fuck you guys! I'm getting the fuck out of here!
The Molded, much like most in the Resident Evil universe, are bioweapons and serve as our resident zombies of the game. They will repeatedly attack and surprise you as you make your way through the Baker household. Now, the Molded themselves aren't living corpses like zombies, nor are they parasitic organisms like the Plaga or Havo. No, in fact, the only use the corpses have when it comes to the Molded is to be food for their true form, Bacterium. In physical appearance, the Molded themselves look rather similar to the Ooze from Resident Evil Revelations than any of its other predecessors. No, not that Ooze.
How about taking another quack at it?
What the fuck?
So with the entire Baker family and the Molded aside, there's only one other issue to deal with, and actually, she becomes the first threat to your very survival, and that is your beloved wife, Mia, who I will remind you is this woman.
Well, judging by from the way she was hitting her head on the wall, probably a woodpecker. Because pouring rubbing alcohol on our hands is totally going to heal all our wounds. And not at all make it... Ah, shit! What the fuck?!
Where is she? I would love to see her.
Do you care to pay your respects?
Holy crap! You are creepy as shit, sneaking up on me.
So there's that. Yeah, Mia, as you will immediately notice upon coming into contact with her, is very infected, like the rest of the Baker family. However, unlike the zombies of previous games, Mia acts more like she's possessed than infected with a virus. This is to be later explored as you get towards the final act of the game. Now, the first thing most people will notice about the game, and especially so if you're at all familiar with the Resident Evil series, is that the game is done entirely in the first person's perspective, regardless of whether you play it on the TV or with the PlayStation VR. That said, most people will wonder the same thing about the first person perspective. Does it tone down or ruin in at least some aspect the feeling of dread or the idea that this is a Resident Evil game? Well, that's where it gets a little complicated. While it certainly doesn't diminish the overall quality of the game, it does alter in at least some aspects the experience. Now, this can be seen as both a good and bad thing, as it certainly doesn't feel like a numbered Resident Evil game as compared to a spin-off when done from the first-person perspective. However, the feeling of horror and the terrifying visuals help to almost counterbalance the unusual choice in perspectives, not to mention the stress produced from the very environment itself. It may, however, cause some purists and longtime fans of the series to feel a bit out of place at times, as it oddly enough seems to draw a lot of its inspiration from other more recently successful horror games such as Alien Isolation and the soon-to-be Outlast series. This, however, should be praised as it not only increases the level of immersion for the player, but also proves that Capcom does in fact have the ability to listen to the gaming populace despite having a line of multiple failures in the series. Speaking of immersion though, we have to talk about the game's greatest asset, and that is the use of the PlayStation VR. In this department, the game absolutely knocks it out of the park with a level of immersion and dedication not seen in any other VR game for the PS4. I was consistently hesitant to even round a corner in the Baker household out of fear of what might be waiting for me once I did.
Ah, shit!
And although most VR games have done this when in the first-person perspective, I do feel that it seems to remove you at least temporarily from the immersion and fascination of the game when you see your floating dislocated arms hovering in front of you, making you feel more like Rayman than a normal human being. On top of those issues, the VR mode doesn't have the same visuals it does on the TV, as the graphics are definitely held back and are accompanied by some minor frame rate issues. There are also issues with the subtitles, as they can at times cut through other objects in the scenery, especially during cutscenes. There are also issues of risk of nausea and dizziness if you utilize the PlayStation VR for too long, with some complaints coming in as short as 10 to 20 minutes. However, not only is this risk possible with every VR game currently out, but during my playthrough with the PlayStation VR, I had no such issues and had long streams of up to 1 hour and 51 minutes. Now on the flip side, playing Resident Evil 7 on the TV comes with its own set of challenges, such as the inability to navigate your aim in a fluid motion, which is completely fixed with the use of the PlayStation VR, as you very easily aim by using your current camera head position with the angle of the PlayStation camera. There are also issues, however, with the first-person view, as you will find yourselves at times battling the constant camera angle changes, which can provide some awkward movements, especially given the level of success that most first-person horror games have achieved in this day and age. That aside, the game does come with a set of surprising and sometimes game-changing choices you will have to make, from deciding whether to eliminate all the molded you run into, to, well, other interesting challenges. This will lead to an odd and somewhat disappointing change in the game, as you will be made to decide whether you want to aid and cure your eyes on the inside, Zoe, or your bat-crap crazy wife, Mia.
Oh no. It's ah! 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 R2 resist! R2 resist! 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 Son of a bitch! What the? Yeah! Ah! Shit! 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 Son of a whore! Get the hell away from me! Ah! Get the fuck away from me! Ow! God damn it!
She really has a way with words. The decision of who to save is unfortunately rather minuscule and only furthers to alter the plot in a very minor way, which can, in all honesty, not be worth your time to pursue. So overall, guys, whether you play Resident Evil 7 in the VR or just on the television, this is absolutely a game worth buying, and even if you choose not to purchase it, I would strongly recommend borrowing a friend's copy or renting it somewhere, because Capcom definitely brings back both the horror and the excitement of the original Resident Evil games. This also brings up curiosities of whether this will be the first in a long line of one-shot isolated events involving rogue bioorganisms, or whether they'll choose to go back to the classic format of large-scale chained events involving your favorite characters, from Leon S. Kennedy to Jill Valentine.
Oh, Barry!
That was too close. You were almost a Jill sandwich.
You're right.
Personally, I would be more interested in seeing the former and exploring in a capacity that would allow me to feel new and refreshed every time I played the game. But, who knows? I guess we'll wait and see. And honestly, despite my opinion that this format seems to fit a spin-off more than an actual numbered Resident Evil title, the game itself just blows me out of the water, especially when compared to the previous numbered game. So this brings me to my overall opinion on Resident Evil 7. Having taken my time in the game to explore the Baker Ranch and scare myself shitless on numerous occasions, I ended up at about 10 hours worth of gameplay with all the improvements and new aspects, not to mention the added fluidity and immersion of the VR mode. Resident Evil 7 earns an overall rating of 8 out of 10. Now calm down, folks. By no means does this mean that it's a bad game. Quite to the contrary, as Resident Evil 7 is one of the best games I've played in recent date, suffering mostly from issues related to the way you play the game, either by television screen or VR as opposed to gameplay or graphics directly. Now, one of the most important things out there, and one thing the Noodle Network will always make sure to focus on, is the pricing. Currently, Resident Evil 7 has not seen a reduced price at GameStop, but if you look online, finding a reduced price of $50 should not prove to be a very difficult challenge to anyone. That said, I do believe that Resident Evil 7 is worth the full asking price of $60, and if you have the PlayStation VR, I could not recommend more that you go out and get this game immediately. Resident Evil 7, in my opinion, more than proves why this game series has lasted as long as it has, and will continue to do so as more iterations of the series come to light. I can hardly wait to play the already released DLC, and those which have yet to come out yet. Keeping in mind, however, that it may be toned down when compared to the actual game itself. But here's hoping that it does well. Anyways, guys, thank you for joining me on this super late review of Resident Evil 7. Now, if you'll excuse me, I have some medieval-style justice to unleash. Ah! Hey guys, I just wanted to say thank you again for all your help and all your views on the Let's Plays, the live streams, the specials that I've done, and even this one solitary review so far. I am in the future going to be ramping up the progress, especially once we hit summer. But over the next 2 weeks, videos are going to be a little slower because it is approaching exam time, and obviously school trumps pretty much everything else. Sorry for you guys who are expecting a lot more videos. I promise though, wait patiently, and once we hit summer, I will be cranking out more videos and faster than we have done so far. I promise you. So just stick around, and I promise we'll get some more fun stuff up there. Also, if you guys don't mind, just clicking that like button or click that subscribe button. If you didn't like the video, just leave us some comments down in the comment section below. Let me know what you feel should have been changed. And as always, the Noodle Network is an open conversation. I'd like to hear from you guys what you think of the video game as compared to my own opinion. And as always, folks, thank you for joining me here on the Noodle Network, and I will see you all next time. Take it easy.